G'day everyone and welcome back to the hill. I thought I'd make a video about my absence recently. I've been very busy with work at the moment. Our season this year has extended beyond our expectations. A lot of you might not realise I've recently, well, I can't say recently, it's been over 12 months now that I've changed jobs from typically truck driving to Melbourne to forklift driving in the alcohol industry. And the changes that have been over the past 12 months from this Christmas just gone to the previous Christmas, well, now we are much more engaged in our third-party logistics. So we store alcohol on behalf of a third party and pick orders and distribute it to them. And while I can say that the current trends are obviously different, this winter, well, last winter, a lot of our sales were basically sporting clubs and a slowdown of everyone else. But this year, there's been a notable difference. So the third-party logistics have exploded, but it hasn't. The funny thing is we're in a cost of living crisis. People don't seem to be. Oh, how can I say this? People don't seem to be going out as much anymore. Our clubs and restaurants and venues where you go out to eat and have a drink, they've really slowed down. But our bottle shops and takeaway venues have absolutely exploded. So that just tells me through this cost of living crisis that people, like I said, I'm in the alcohol industry. I don't want to say that just people just drink, but people are more likely to purchase their alcohol and take it home. People aren't going out for a meal and having a drink, which is where the, how could you say it, a lot of our people we supply to, it's broad, but you know, who's going out for a $50 steak and then spending $50 on beer? You know, your average night out at a restaurant is becoming unaffordable to the average person. You know, like 12 months ago it was $30, go out, $30, get yourself a steak and a beer, and once you had your beer, listen to the live entertainment and maybe have a few more beers. That's not the norm anymore. And that's purely through government policies and things like that. I've never really gotten political on this channel, but my personal experiences have changed. Unfortunately, I can't garden the way that I used to. I'm not focusing as much on my outside garden as I am what I can do within my greenhouse. But having said that, I've also, what this video is really all about is also some of the things I've been doing in the background. I'll just light up a dart because I'm a dart smoker. So, where do we go from here? I've also been getting myself back into AI. or the fresh air's coming in. I used to be pretty good on the CPU, which is why I started the YouTube channel and editing and stuff like that, and I got away from that a lot. I focused on a lot of live to air videos. It cut down the editing and all that. So let's say like 20 years ago, for example, I used to be really good on the computer. I could build my own towers. That's when towers and computers were a thing, and I did a lot of that. And then recently a lot of laptop computers have come a long way, and I sort of, like, I play games as well on computers and things like that. I've dabbled in that. Generally my dabbling has been on it happens on days of rain. So if I'm stuck inside, rather than watch Netflix, I'd play a computer game or do something on the computer. And a lot recently that has been taken over by Xbox, and I want to get off the Xbox, so I've forced myself into getting back into CPUs and laptops, which is fine. But to get away from Xbox, I've been forcing myself to learn AI. This isn't a video about AI, but it's just a video about telling you what I'm currently doing. It's why the gardening footage has dropped off a little bit. I've had a few personal things happen in my life over the past 2 years, which is why my gardening channel has pretty much dropped down. Had a death in the family, my mother, and I also had a near-death experience myself, which was what basically was the catalyst of me changing my job. I nearly died from an industrial accident, so I took myself out of that equation. Now, the industrial accident was pretty much basically my own fault. It was just carelessness. To cut a long story short, it was a Friday afternoon. I had the opportunity to finish early, and I didn't do what I usually would do. I turned my back on a situation to hurry up and pack my truck up so that I could finish early, and it bit me in the ass. Basically, I was nearly crushed to death by a pallet against my truck. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. But it is a massive eye-opener. A lot of people said that you've changed and you're a lot more mellow, and yeah, I guess when you face your own mortality, it is a wake-up call. So basically I want to tell you what I've been sort of training myself to do, and I'm probably leaning towards, well, if I can, I will continue with this channel, although it won't be what it was. Not that it was anything sensational or over the top or miraculous, but I want to go down another path. I need to get back up with the times, and I want to learn about AI and possibly learn to work remotely. So if I can work online, that'd be awesome. If I can work remotely, I'm more reliable on myself than I am on a income from an employer. So I'll post a little video on the end of here. Well, it's not a little video, but it's my test pilot video that I'd like to get out there and let everybody have a look at. And this is the sort of things I'm getting into. It's not the number one, but it's just one niche that I'm thinking about for my future. I guess the gist of it is creating a YouTube channel or whatever, justifying, well, I don't know, what's the words I'm trying to find? Might not be justifying, but just the way I've changed things in life, and I look at the world differently now. I really do look at the world differently now. I wouldn't be surprised if my partner or children just like, you're not the same person you used to be. And well, yeah, people change and things change, and there's a big pause because I'm trying to think as I go. But I want to do things differently, and I want to move my greenhouse, and I don't know. This is just me speaking off the cuff one night. I've just dropped my son down at work, and that's the view over the valley from our front yard. There's a bit of fog down there and whatnot, and there's my beehives, and I'm still the normal bloke that just does things, but yeah, things change and things do change, and if you don't embrace the change, I used to be a very traditionalist person. I still am a very traditionalist person. I don't like to change from things that work, and where this country's going, I'm not happy with. You might be happy with it, but I'm not happy with it. Which is hence one of the reasons why I'm going to start this new venture, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and I'll keep punching and keep going for the different angles that I'm trying to achieve. But this will probably be an hour-long video, which I don't really do because I'm going to tag a video on the end of this from what I've been teaching myself to do, and it also satisfies my own personal needs of trying to justify things in this country, because like I said, I don't usually get political, but politics seem to be very interested in me. So I feel the need that I used to fly under the radar for years. Like, I was the type of person that yeah mate, you're a nut job, that's not going to happen, blah blah blah. And but there's a lot of my friends who know me, and they've known me for a long time, who are coming around now and like, fuck, you were right. Sorry to swear, but they were like, you're right. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sick of being right on this at the moment. I really am. I'm glad you've come around, but what are you doing about it? You know, if you're not happy with the country, the way it's been run, these politicians, these current crop of politicians, and I'm not politically aligned. I've never voted in my life. I'll say that right now. I never enrolled to vote, and I won't enroll to vote, because there's no political party that's willing to instill my vote. Now, for example, I bought Pauline Hanson's bobblehead. That's just a shit stir, and that's just what type of person I am, because the current crop of politicians in this country are shit, in my opinion. They are terrible. I didn't buy the bobblehead to support Pauline Hanson, so while I do support her, it's only because she is, in my opinion, the best of the worst of what we've got. It doesn't matter. I don't vote. A lot of people say, you don't vote, so what does it matter? You know, you don't have your say, so your opinion doesn't count. And I'm like, well, just because I don't vote or anything like that It doesn't mean I'm exempt from the shit that these people put us into. You know, I still have to deal with CPI, inflation, rising electricity costs, rising fuel costs, rising fucking everything. What do you think I'm exempt from that because I don't vote? I'm very disillusioned with this country at the moment. Well, I love this country we live in. We live in one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Like, where I live, look at that image out there. It's God's country, my friend. But the people running it do not have our best interests at heart. And I don't know how to make people... I had a good conversation with a young fella, and it actually stemmed from this bobblehead of Pauline Hanson, and he's like, oh, why have you got that? She's a shill. And I'm like, they're all shills. And you're right. No, but she likes coal. And I'm like, and what's wrong with that? Oh, coal's going to kill us all. And I'm like, how long... You live next to a power station. Are you dead? No, you're right. And just everything we spoke about, I sort of had a counter argument with him without being nasty. And I'm like, and he's like, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. But it didn't change his opinion. It had no changes. I mean, we spoke about nuclear, and he's like, oh, no, nuclear, we're all going to die. And I'm like, well, we've already got nuclear stuff here, and what's wrong with that? He goes, I said, the technology's come a long way, and I said, we've got a reactor in Sydney that's probably a kilometre from residential areas, and he didn't even realise that. And I said, well, your wife's from Vietnam. And he's, yeah. And I said, well, Vietnam are starting to embrace nuclear technology as well. They're looking down that path. What do you say to that? But I wasn't going to change his mind, even though and it wasn't a heated conversation or anything like that. It was a pretty, unfortunately, it was at 4:30 in the morning. But it was a pretty good conversation that's made me realise it's hard to change people's opinions of things until it actually 100% affects them. Unless that jackboot is on their throat, people aren't going to change their opinions of things. So that was a pretty good tangent. Tangent time. Yeah, I know. If you know, you know. But, so, yeah. I've been rambling for 20 minutes now, so I'm going to attach probably a 20-minute video on the end of this to show you what I've been up to and learning and trying to work out. And, yeah, I hope everyone's doing well, because this country is beautiful and resource rich, and for some reason we're not willing to use these resources in our best interest, and I think that's all political. I think it's all political. You know, I don't want to get into my beliefs about things, and unless you want me to, I'll start getting on here and ranting and raving about what I believe in, and I might not believe in what you believe in, but on the same token, you do you and I'll do me, and if by chance we disagree, then fuck you and here's to me. That's my opinion, and that's probably your opinion too, which is fine. But somewhere along the line, you gotta... I don't like saying wake up, because it's a catchphrase. It's but you've got to be honest with yourself and say, this isn't working. This country isn't working. And why is it not working? the country my children have grown up in the last 20 years is not the country that I grew up 30 years prior to their 20 years. And as much as I tell them, we used to ride around on push bikes without helmets and do stupid shit and drink. Let's go down the stereotypical type of situations. We'd all hang out together. We didn't have the technology that you have today, so we couldn't always be in our friend's pocket on a device. If someone was at home, you'd drive past, and if their car wasn't there, they weren't home. Or there were push bikes in the front yard, they weren't there. It is a different world, but the basis is still the same. We are human beings, and we're losing our connection of what it is to be human beings, and our connection to the planet, our connection to the earth, the connection to our land. All this governmental division that's been driven at us. How do I say it without being politics, pop culture at the moment, but the way... No, I'm not going to say it. I'll just say the multiculturalism hasn't worked the way it is intended to. And that's because of the way the policies have been created. So, but the fact of the matter is, I want to... The latest thing I'm onto at the moment is getting into exposing politicians and their expenditures. And I just want you to see, because everyone's distracted by shit. They're distracted by football. The amount of people who say, you're right, Vaughan, and let's do this and let's do that. And then 2 minutes later, the conversation is, did you watch football on the weekend? Like, dude, I don't watch football. I haven't watched football for fucking 10 years. Because it's not important. It's a glancing interest for me now. And believe you me, anyone who knows me, I played the game. I was heavily involved in the game at the highest level as a supporter. Loved the game, got into all the banter and all that sort of shit. It's just not important at the moment. Because who you support in the football is not going to make your mortgage cheaper. It's not going to reduce your cost of living. People need to put this down and not make it the major thing in their life. The distraction is, I understand that distraction is the greatest thing for mental health. But you need to look at what's causing that mental health issues. And a lot of those are issues of money. And where's things going. And I just don't believe that the current crop of politicians have the country's best interest at heart. They have their own interests at heart, keeping in power and towing their party lines and their ideologies. It's insane, the TV still has people who capture the light. It's not just football. There's Married at First Sight. There's I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. It's Australian Idol or fucking whatever Idol or cooking. What is it? MasterChef. Fucking whatever it is. But Pete Evans speaks up and is a dickhead. Yeah, so I do have a political rant on this page that I did probably 10 years ago. That is a private video. I may make that possible. I don't know how relevant it is today. I don't know if it's close to. I have to revisit and see but I did it while I was driving the truck, and that was probably 10 years ago. I could probably make it public if people were interested in it and repost it so it was front and centre. But I don't know. A lot of people seem to like drama in their lives, and they're just not alive if they don't have drama. So I want to get the conversation started about, are we getting value for money from our politicians? Because, well, it's not about what I want, but it is about what I think is possible. And people in this country they do use the proverbial 10% of their brain, and they do need to be shown things. And I'd like to highlight things, and I'm not going to highlight them in a way that's sides, because like I said, I'm not politically aligned with anyone. But, you know, the politicians are spending billions of our dollars. And, you know, is it justified? Is anyone keeping them to account? Do people actually know what's going on? And some of these policies that these people are implementing actually affect your day-to-day living. And then you have the conversations at work and you're like, nah, Albo's a dickhead, blah, blah, Pauline's a fucking fruitcake. Yeah, the Liberals are fucking self-imploding. And the Greens, well, let's just not talk about the Greens because they're nut jobs. You know what I mean? It's that way inclined. All I know is that we can't keep borrowing our way out of this. We can't keep borrowing our way out of this and putting it onto our children's future. My children are early 20s. They can't afford a house. They're never going to move out of here. I'm going to have them here forever. And then they bitch about that they can't move out. I'm like, yeah, I can't do anything about that. I mean, I've got a caravan out here that is sitting there vacant. And how many of you, if there was a caravan in your yard, how many of you would be in that caravan away from the house? You know? But no, it's too far away from the fridge. It's too far away from the toilet. It's too far away from the conveniences. And my kids are never going to afford a house. I'm grateful I bought a house that was out in the sticks and it was very fucking cheap, and we paid it off. And I was lucky. Well, I don't know if you'd say lucky. I was fortunate. My mother died, left me an inheritance, and I paid out my mortgage. I've got not much left of my inheritance. I paid out my mortgage and her mortgage, because she was halfway through the mortgage of her place, and I paid that out. And I don't know, my point is, I'm a little bit better off than a few other people. I don't know how people with mortgages and younger kids, my kids are older now, so they're sort of a bit self-reliant. They're both working and they've got good jobs. My kids aren't fuckwits either. Well, they are fuckwits, but they're not fuckwits. I don't know if you understand that, but they get up every day, they go to work, they do their shit. They can't afford to save to buy a house. The risk is too great. And that's what this country has become. So, look, I've been rabbiting on for enough now, and as much as I could probably rabbit on for another half an hour, I really could. I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to tag on what I've been up to and pointing a few things out, and just let me know in the comments below if you think I'm on the right path, or I'm being a bitch and complaining about shit, or whatever. And we'll take it from there. And it's not going to be on this channel. I'm going to still keep focusing on doing gardening shit on this channel, which might not be as regular as I'd like it to be. Although I'm starting to get some motivation back after 3 years of losing motivation. And not just losing motivation, there was probably 2 years there where I wasn't physically capable of doing things because I nearly died. And this place really needs to be fucking brought back up to the speed we had before that happened. But so hopefully I can get back into posting some more gardening stuff, and I don't know, I might post a short. I've just cleaned out the greenhouse and put beetroot in, and yeah, I might be behind in beetroot and it can grow in the winter time, but it'll grow in my greenhouse and be fine. It'll catch up. So, but this other channel I'm going to start up, and it might be the start of something, it might not be the start of something, but I'm going to look into working remotely because I don't want to go to work for the man anymore. I've had enough of that. If I can learn to do shit from anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country, and work remotely and from home, which means working from home means I could take a drive to fucking Queensland and still be able to do my work online. You know, and spend 3 months up there. My kids are old enough to look after themselves. I'll never sell this property. I mean, I could sell this house and move overseas tomorrow and live off the profits of this house quite comfortably in fucking Bali or Thailand or Philippines, Sri Lanka, whatever. But I don't want to. I know my kids probably aren't going to be up for that. My partner and I would be, but my kids won't be up for that. So this house will always be here, and it will always be a base. So I want to be able to work remotely and do shit from other parts of the world, if I so choose to. I mean, I'd love to leave Victorian winter and go work up in Queensland for 3 or 4 months of the year, knowing things are fine down here, my kids are getting to work and doing their stuff and doing their own thing. As long as I can get one of them to feed the fucking chickens. You know, I don't know. So, yeah, let's just have a look at the video I tag on the end of it and see what you think. Let me know. I accept criticism. I'm not like a fucking sook who can't be told you're a dickhead. But if this is something that's feasible, it's the best that I can come up with, that I can sort of make people think. And not just, you know, like, are we getting the best value for money from our politicians? Because I don't believe we are. And anyone who knows me knows that I've been saying that for fucking 35 years. 30 to 35 years. And it's changed from, look at the way that fog's rolled in. If you've been watching this video all this time, good on you. See the way that fog's rolled in? I love this country. Don't love the way it's run. So, if you're so inclined, hang around and have a look at the video I'm going to tag onto the end of this. And yeah, just let me know what you think. So, until then, after this video, see you on the next one.